Hello, welcome to Forbidden Radio, episode 5. I'm joined here by my co host Noah and our guest today, Eric from Forbidden Origins. Welcome.
What's up, guys? I think I'm the first reoccurring guest.
You are, yes. First,
Eric Part
first
Two.
ever returning guest.
Eric Part 2, Eric Carter.
Oh no. Yep. But anyways, yeah. Thank you guys for having me. For the listeners who are just tuning in for the first time, we are Forbidden Origins. Public sorry our independently owned creative kind of media studio, I would say. Our first foray, we've released books and soon to be graphic novels and comics, and then we're gonna and we've also released animations and stuff, but it's a really cool team. um, we've also created Forbidden Radio, which Angel and Noah are the hosts of, and I am the co-founder of Forbidden Origins with my best friend Armani Salato. We've started this podcast, I think. Do you guys remember the first podcast day, or when was
I
that?
don't remember the day exactly, but it's been 5 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Or 6 weeks, maybe.
Nice. So yeah, I think the podcast started, I think it was like end of January, I believe. But it's been over a
Yeah.
month of podcasting. You guys
Mhm.
have released a whole bunch of great episodes. I've listened to every one of them, except for the first one because I don't like listening to myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I'll probably listen to this one because I have upgraded my hardware a bit, and I think I'll sound better. So that's the
What's
reason
going
why I
on,
would listen, is
guys?
just to see if the audio sounds better.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's good to be on again. I think we've really just gone into a lot of cool things and topics with pop culture, but we also talk about our company, Forbidden Origins, and what's going on with that. Um, and I'll actually lead into that with if at this point I'm pretty sure, and we've I think you guys talked about it in the previous episode. Uh, our first collaborative project is out. Echoes of the Old Universe. It's a compilation of short stories that take place during our main series, The Old Universe, and during the actual war itself for the universe. It's really cool. Angel wrote some cool stories. Noah wrote some awesome stories. You guys got to check it out. It's available on Amazon, and now we've stocked on TikTok Shop. So if you're on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. You can buy it from TikTok if you want to get it from there as well. But we've been out for a bit, and we've hit some goals that we wanted for our sales, so that's really good. So congratulations to you guys. Couldn't have done it without you guys, but yeah, that's like our main thing that's out right now that I think people should still check out for sure. It's still fresh, and get into the world of the old universe if you're interested in the old universe, and maybe you don't want to read a whole novel, which is the first book, but it's still a great read. Don't get me wrong, but maybe you want to maybe read a couple just stories. That's where Echoes comes in. You can read about it and check it out. But yeah, how are you guys feeling about Forbidden Origins and what we're doing lately?
I think it's really cool. Book's been out for, what, 2 weeks now? We've got some decent sales. People in my family and my friends bought some copies. I know my mom was like telling like all her friends at work about it and stuff, so they were all like really excited because like some of them have known me since I was like a little kid. So they're like, "What? You wrote a book? No way!"
That's
So
awesome.
they're very excited about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of my my mom's coworkers, they bought it. Some friends bought
Nice.
it. Of course, family bought it. So it's been getting some pretty good reception. Like people that I know who really aren't too much into science fiction, they actually enjoyed the stories that we wrote. So that's pretty cool.
That's really
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome. Has anyone said anything about any specific stories?
No, I haven't gotten any actual feedback on it yet.
Same here. Nothing yet. My dad. No, actually, no. Okay, so my mom's a very honest person,
Yeah,
and she would tell me if like she thought mine sucked, because like of course
yeah,
mine was the first ones that she read. And she's like, no,
Yeah.
that it's pretty good. I didn't think she I guess she always knew I was like a writer. Of course, she always knew
Right.
that. And me being her son, she always thought I was pretty good. But then she actually reads what I wrote, and she actually really enjoyed it. and she was surprised that my second story was actually a female led story. And I'm like mom, I grew up in a female dominated household. Of course, there's gonna be at least a couple stories that are female dominated, female led. So
Yeah,
so
That's awesome.
that's
Yeah,
really cool. I'm really
actually,
glad she liked it.
go ahead, Angel.
Oh no, I was done. Sorry.
Okay. No, but yeah, out of your stories, Noah, I liked both a lot, but I think I liked yeah, Shakedown a little bit more. Um, don't want to give too much away, but it's very space fleet themed, a
mhm.
lot of spaceships and battles, and I don't know, the way you wrote it was like really engaging. Like I really envisioned like being on the brig with that commander. What's her name again?
Afris Rhea.
Efris Rhea, yeah, like being with her and like, what she had to do to, I don't want to say too much, but I'm giving a good review in itself for anyone listening. Get the book and read Noah's stories and read Angels too. They're
Yeah, read them
awesome.
all.
Well, yeah, exactly. Read them all. My wife, when she was helping review the book, she had a favorite story. It was Dominic's story, Into the Void. She
Mhm.
really liked that one.
Oh, that one's really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic's an amazing writer as well. Super insightful guy too. So I can't wait till he gets on this podcast. I think he'll be one of our next coming guests very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, very excited for
And
that.
the cool thing about Echoes, guys, if you guys want some super deep science fiction stories that'll get you like in your feelings, you're gonna get that. If you want explosive battles, you'll get that. There's something for everybody in there, and I think you guys will enjoy it. If you guys have just watched Dune, it's on that level in my opinion. That's the kind of science fiction we're going for, mixed with like Star Wars. So if you have your fast food and you got your filet mignon in there, so
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good sci-fi and just good stories in themselves. I think we also kind of brought the point of I think what makes this stuff work in any genre is just to have a good story. Because I mean,
Yeah,
for me, even if I even like romance stories, if the story is good, you know what I'm
yes,
saying?
same.
Like if you
yeah,
care about the character and you care about what's going on, it could be anything. It
Hmm.
could be anything, and that's like the effectiveness of writing and how important you get the story structure and the character right. I think that's the big thing too is the character.
yeah,
Um, I think that's why, yeah, and you just mentioned Noah. Dune, and oh my gosh, we're gonna have to talk about that later, but for sure in this podcast. But yeah, Dune, the movie that just came out, part two. I think why it was so captivating too, and the book too when it came out was the main character Paul and what
Hmm.
he goes through, and what happens to him, right? And it's so crazy. It's just the crazy element of writing. Like just to talk about writing, it's like you can either write a really compelling character or you kind of write something so compelling that happens to them. And usually the best writing is like both, I think, where
yeah,
you have a really good character that you care about and then the whole situation in it is so crazy you have to see what happens. And I think Dune was like a perfect encapsulation of that with Paul. Um and yeah, that's what we're going for and I think we're definitely starting to get our stride with that and then keep building on that. But yeah, just again, yeah, love sci-fi. Check out Echoes. Um, Guys, what else do you want to talk about Forbidden Origins Rise real quick on like what we have coming up? Like, what do you guys want to do, or what are you working on? Like, what do you see in the near future for Forbidden Origins?
Um,
uh,
Angel, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
you go ahead.
Yeah. I think I bounced this around. I might have brought it up with you, Eric. But I was thinking maybe, yeah, I can see. I know we're gonna be doing Echoes Volume 2. But I think a really cool side project for us to do would be another short story compilation. But it's just any genre, any story that we have. It could be something that we've been working on for a while, or it could just be a story we make up for the book. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like a showcase. Like you know how some companies have like animation showcases, they have short film showcases. For us, this would be like a showcase of like writing from each writer. You know, or
Yeah,
like Love, Death, and Robots, but in book form.
I think that'd be really cool.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could definitely talk about that more. Definitely like with the rest of everybody too. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's a really cool idea. Um, Angel, anything that you like have in mind or like what you're thinking about for Forbidden Origins?
I am very much still in the brainstorming phase. I've been trying. I I don't know. I just have nothing like that I want to do with the old universe just yet. Like I've been trying to come up with ideas, but I'm kind of blanking.
No problem. But yeah, this is just Forbidden Origins chat and like what's going on. I think we're in a really good spot, and we can definitely grow and flourish, especially this year. I think we should definitely have more conversations, as a team, soon, just to yeah, plan everything out and give the people what they want. I agree. Um, I also know, like I said, kind of in the beginning about Forbidden Origins, we really want to break into that visual space as well.
Mhm.
With you can say it as comics, graphic novels, animations, whatnot. A lot of that is in the works. I don't want to give too much away just yet, but we are definitely on that side too. We really want to bring this come to life,
Mhm.
and you already see it in our YouTube. If for anyone who doesn't know, we have a Forbidden Origins YouTube with a whole bunch of animations made through Unreal mostly, um, just showcasing these worlds and things, and you can see it like in real time. That's kind of what we use to promote the books, because that's what really works. I think we put a lot of our animations on TikTok, showing like this is what happens in the book, and everyone's like, "Oh, dope!" And then they'll read, and then they buy the book. But yeah, that's really cool. I'm excited, guys. I hope you guys are hyped.
Yeah, it's very much to be excited about. I feel like we have big things planned for this year and years to come.
Yeah,
I
I can say real quick. I'm also working on I'm redoing some drafts for the comic, but I'm working on a comic for Forbidden Origins for the old universe. So we have that coming out this year, and I know another guy's another. I'm not going to say too much. I don't want to speak on anybody else's projects, but we have another comic being worked on too. So we do have things coming, guys, visually that I think are going to be really nice to read and look at. The artists are also working pretty hard on that too. So
yeah, definitely keep an eye out.
Yeah, we're cooking. We're cooking in the kitchen.
Okay, but back to Dune. What did you guys think if you guys saw it?
Did you
fantastic.
see it, Angel?
No, I haven't even seen the first one yet. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
anything
you were the
about
one saying
Dune.
that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the darker here, but I know it's a very popular movie, very popular franchise, and I know people loved it. I've been seeing everybody talking about it. It's all over my TikTok, people posting on their Instagram stories, people saying they're watching it multiple times.
The memes.
All the memes, yeah. Everybody says they want to be Paul.
Paul is literally me.
Yeah.
Noah, you want to go first about Dune?
Um. Yeah. Dune is It's like okay. So I like to classify science fiction. Um. Before Star Wars and after Star Wars, right? Before Star Wars, it was mainly like fantasy, right? But in space with spaceships. After Star Wars was more of the science fiction aspect. Um,
Okay.
and the thing I like about Dune is that it's old hat sci-fi, right? The '60s, but
Mm.
the way that the director adapted it, it's very easy to get into. You understand the jargon. It's it was a fantastic movie. The visuals were breathtaking. I really want to go again. I get paid on Thursday, so I think I might go. I'm probably gonna go again. Um,
That good?
yeah, I know there's a dude. I don't know if he's for real actually doing it, but on Twitter he's like, round 14 IMAX,
Oh my god.
Yes, yes, I've seen him. People
and
think he's gonna get like sponsored by Warner Brothers to watch, to go to the next Dune Messiah whenever that comes out.
yeah, people are like he's single handedly gonna get Doom and Zaya adapted, financed. I just thought it was really good, man, and I already told Eric and Armani I walked out of that pumped to see the old universe get adapted because if we can get someone with Denis Villeneuve's directing ability to adapt our stuff, it would be fantastic. Just the visuals alone were next level. There's a scene where Paul is walking towards one of the Fremen's like places of worship, right? I forgot. There's a specific name for it, but I forgot what it is. And a freaking worm blasts out behind him, and just that visual alone, I was like, that is breathtaking. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
one
So
of my
Yeah,
favorite.
that's what I've been hearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very visually stunning.
I know some of the book readers because I read the book. I'm one of those people where I understand you can't adapt everything, And
Yeah.
a lot of the hardcore book readers are like, yeah, I was kind of disappointed they didn't adapt this or this or this. But like, I want to say at least 85 to 90% of the book readers, they enjoy it. You know, they think that the adaptation was really, really good. So
That's a good ratio. I feel
yeah,
like with every adaptation, there's always like that group of people that will just complain. They'll like find any reason to like say, "Oh, the books are better." But I think a good adaptation doesn't need to have everything, as long as it captures like the essence of it.
the spirit of it. And I think they did.
Yeah,
What about you, Eric?
that's really cool.
All right, so basically, you want to know what I think about Dune Part 2? I'm seeing it for the third time
Oh my
this
god.
Saturday on IMAX because I didn't see it in IMAX yet.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
haven't
literally
either.
watching. It's almost 3 hour movie for the third time. So that's about 9 hours of Dune. I'm gonna have 9 hours of Dune in my brain.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, when I first watched it, when it was done, I think for me, after I watch movies, I have to like resonate on them a bit because when I first finished it, I was like, oh yeah, that was like good. I liked it. Like, but I didn't like. But then on the way home and like driving, it like kind of marinated, and then I started to like kind of like lose myself and start like looking up the Dune lore and everything. And then I'm like, wait, why am I doing all this? And then it's just like, oh, that movie was amazing. It was so good. Yeah, like you were saying, no, it's just it was a brilliant adaptation by a really good director.
Hmm.
I think that's what made it work. I think without Denis, I don't think it would have been, what it was, even
No.
if you had the same actors and everything. I think his directing really just brought it to life in that way. And when the movie, because that movie completes the book, it made part one so much better. I also went back to watch part one, and because I did watch part one too in the theater, and it was good too.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about Dune, and I didn't know like where the story was going. So when I finished, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I kind of didn't know what was going on, and I don't know, like I won't know until part two, and
Right.
then part two kind of completed the circle, and I was like, "Oh my god, like this is amazing." And then I got really into it, everything about Dune. And then yeah, I feel like Dune especially, I think when the book readers just when only part 1 was out, I bet you the book readers liked it a lot more versus someone who doesn't know anything about Dune because they kind of have for me it just worked better when I knew the whole context of everything. It was like that there's like an ending sequence in the first movie that it's basically I'm not going to get super spoily, but it starts basically from when Paul and his mom are meeting the Fremen for the first time at the end of the movie,
Hmm.
all the way to the actual end of part 1. It's literally perfect. It's literally so good, and it like ends in such a hype way, and like okay, this is just a line, and it's like a very generic line unless you know what happens. The one of the last lines in part 1, Zendaya looks at Paul Chani and she says, "This is just the beginning." And I literally freaked out because like the context of that now, because of what happens in Dune 2 and just the whole story of Dune. Like, yeah, that was like the creator, or the director telling you, when you're getting into the world of Dune, like literally this is just the beginning. Like you have no idea like what you're in for. And I was
That's
like,
really
I
cool.
freaked out. And then but yeah, and then Dune 2 was just oh man, if you should definitely. I feel like everyone should watch it. Definitely watch part one, if you can before, just to get more context. At least for me, when I have more context in these type of like big grand sci-fi movies, it just comes out so much better. And I'm super excited for IMAX because I do know the director. He filmed the movie in IMAX cameras, so when you watch it in IMAX, you see more of the scenes because when it's
Yeah.
widescreen for the theater, it cuts off like the
Mm.
top and the bottom.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Apparent,
they did.
apparently, he did do that, but then he put it through. I forgot what they did. I think they exported the footage and then they put it on like VHS or something like that. They put it on some older form of media, and then they re-downloaded it onto the computer, so it gave it a more grainy feel, even though it was still in IMAX. Like it still was at that resolution. It gave it like almost like a grimier feel to it. And if you like knowing that and you rewatch it, it's like, oh no, I can kind of see that. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I think technically, I think that's amazing that they did that because I think he said that he felt that it was too clean, Arrakis,
yeah,
and he didn't want to put an artificial filter over it, so they did that to make it look a little more grimy.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's some director shit for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
hardcore
like-
director shit. Yeah, that's like I grew up wanting to direct just for all my life shit right there.
Mhm.
Art school
Yeah,
shit.
he's yeah. I sound like such like a stan, but yeah, he's brilliant.
No, yeah.
Like,
So yeah, I'm a massive fan of Denny. His work is so good.
all his
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Sicario was crazy. Um, you know what though? There is one movie I need to rewatch again because I didn't dig it as much. Was the Blade Runner sequel? But I don't think I understand. I think I need to rewatch it
I thought it was
because
good.
a lot of people like that movie and it looked good, but like the story was like I don't know for me though. But I'll have to rewatch it. And Prisoners, right? He did Prisoners.
Yes.
That movie was crazy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
movie.
I think what I'm learning here is that I need to watch more movies because I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen any of his movies.
What was the last movie you saw, Angel?
The last movie I saw, gosh, I don't even know if I could remember. I literally don't remember.
What about last TV show?
Oh, last TV show? Geez, putting me on the spot. I think last TV show I watched was probably season 1 of The Flash. I rewatched it pretty recently.
You know what? The first couple of seasons of The Flash were actually really good, and
Oh, yeah.
one of the episodes made me cry. No cap.
Which one?
Yeah, I gotta know which one.
It's
Spoiler alert.
the one. Yeah, well, if you know The Flash, it's not really a big spoiler. It's
Okay.
comic book TV,
Yeah,
and the show's been out for like like 10 years
like almost
now.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was like season 2 or season 3 when he goes to the alternate reality where his mom is still alive,
Okay.
Oh,
and his
Flashpoint.
mom. I think so, but it's in the Flash show, and his mom calls him. And if you don't know about the Flash, the whole character of the Flash is like his mom dies, and that's why he like becomes like a criminal investigator because his dad gets framed for his mom's murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally like the basis of his character. It's like the first scene that they show in the
Yeah,
show.
it's his mom, and so in this universe though, he's the Flash from the original universe, but he's in this alternate universe, and he's like in his room or in the living room, and then he gets a phone call, and it's his mom. And
Oh,
his
okay,
mom's like
I remember
talking
the
to him
scene.
like, "How's your day?" You know, like normal. But he hasn't talked to his mom since he was a kid, so he's like breaking down. And then the mom is like, "Are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" And he's like trying to pick himself up. He's like, "No, I'm just really happy to talk to you." Like, I lost it. I don't know why. It was just so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some scenes in that show that are like so emotional where it's like, wow, I
Yeah.
did not expect this from The Flash.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets a little like hammy with that, but
Yeah.
that scene, I don't know. They got me. They got me good. I was like, "Damn, this is sad."
Yeah, I think the one that got me was the one with the Zoom. And
Zoom was crazy.
yeah,
That was a crazy
with
season.
with what's his name? Henry, his dad.
Oh yeah.
That scene killed me. It was
Oh,
very
yeah.
unexpected, and it just came out of nowhere, and it hit really hard in the moment.
Yeah, the people don't know, man, because us obviously like the most recent seasons of the Flash, they just kept it on. It was just on TV for too long. They just ran out of ideas.
I didn't
But
even watch. I think after season like 4 or 5.
yeah, I stopped after like I think Zoom was like the final thing I watched with the season with Zoom.
Uh huh.
But yeah, that went on for a little too long. But that's the CW. That's what they do. Did you hear about,
Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was sorry guys. I was gonna say that I like the Flash, but I was more into Arrow.
Ooh,
I was gonna
Arrow's
say-
really good too.
Yeah.
I think overall, I think Arrow was a better show because of course, the seasons, the later seasons of Arrow weren't as good as the first seasons, but overall, like Arrow was crazy. And talk to Armani about that. He loved Arrow. Arrow was
Really?
sick. I just haven't watched it all. Yeah, Arrow was dope, especially when they had Ra's al Ghul in it.
Yeah.
That part was crazy. Arrow was sick.
I'm gonna be honest. My favorite DC CW show was Legends of Tomorrow.
I saw like the pilot for that, and then I didn't. I
Yeah.
stopped
Dude,
watching.
the first like few seasons, amazing television.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
What
like
made
you
it
really
so
got to
good?
get into it though. It's honestly, it's very like, it's honestly kind of corny sometimes. Like it's very much a comedy, but I just think the characters is what makes it. Because it's
The
very like an episodic style show where it's like every episode, monster of the week type, whatever. But just like the character growth and the relationships that they have within themselves on the ship, I just think it makes it really good watch.
it's
Highly recommend.
it's funny because the first like I want to say 2 seasons of that show, they had an overarching story, right? And
Yeah.
then they get that story, they wrap up that story, and you can tell the writers are like, "What the hell are we gonna do next?" And then they
Yeah.
just go off the rails with it. The next few seasons, it's
Yeah,
it
it
was
gets
right.
weirder every season.
Yeah, it gets every episode is something different, but it's just like, what can we do here? What can we do? They meet George Lucas. And they meet the
You
guy
mean George
who
Lucas?
yeah, and they meet the guy who created Godzilla.
Yeah, and they meet Barack Obama when he was in college.
Yeah, that too.
I saw that clip on Twitter. Is that where like the gorilla comes to try to kill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when Barack Obama's being chased by a giant gorilla.
Yeah, and he has like telekinesis, and he goes,
Yeah.
Barack Obama. What the heck?
Wait, wasn't that not Gorilla Grodd?
It
Or was
I
it
think
like
it was, yeah.
one of his gorillas? Probably, huh?
I think it was Grodd. I'm pretty sure.
That's such an insane character that they just make work in DC.
Right?
Yeah, that's another thing with DC though. They have like way crazier and wackier characters, I think. I mean, Marvel has some weird characters too, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like DC
Yeah.
has like Marvel has weird characters, but they're just like, I feel like they're more weird in like their own world.
Yeah.
But in DC, they'll be like, yeah, we have a talking gorilla and he's gonna fight Superman. He's gonna fight the Justice League, and we don't care.
And then he's gonna go and establish a city of other talking
Yeah.
gorillas.
Yeah.
And we have
Hey,
a
and it
giant
worked.
starfish. We have a giant starfish that takes
Oh,
over
yeah,
people
the star-
telepathic with its babies.
That was the OG Justice League villain, right? Wasn't that the first Justice League villain?
Yes, Starro the
yeah.
Conqueror.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy they brought him into the movies in Suicide Squad.
They did a really good job with that. He was pretty tragic.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah.
And, like, messed
Yeah,
up.
I kind of like that Suicide Squad, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of the original Suicide Squad, the 2016 one.
You actually unironically like that?
I unironically liked it, and I've seen it probably like 20 times.
What?
But I
I
think
mean-
it's just because like at the time I was in like middle school,
Oh, okay.
and I was like obsessed with like DC
Mhm.
Yeah.
and like Batman and stuff, and so I was like, I'll take what I can get.
I feel that.
I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it when I watched it. I didn't think it was anything super crazy. I know I think I was a little more annoyed when I figured out that like that movie was completely different than what the director envisioned.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
studio meddling with David Ayer, and I really want to see what his original version was, because you can tell in the first trailer,
Yeah.
it was like dark and like kind of taking itself a little more seriously,
Mhm.
and it looked crazy, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. And then that one trailer came out with Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was just the trailer, but that trailer got like so viral and like so popular. I think the studio saw that and were like, oh, we should make the movie more, ragtag, more like Guardians of the Galaxy or something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, because David Ayer has come out and said like they changed his movie.
Well,
Uh-huh.
it's deeper. It goes deeper than that. Actually, they were apparently doing rewrites like same day of shooting for scenes,
That's
Jeez.
crazy.
and that's not a good sign at all.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I want to see
Studios
whatever
tend to
the
ruin movies, I feel like.
whatever the original vision was. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I would call it bad. It was like enjoyable, I guess.
Like a solid 6 out of 10. That's like a C.
Yeah, that's what I would say for me, a 6 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
I just think that Jared Leto's Joker was the worst Joker.
It was definitely a choice.
Yeah.
Like I could see
think-
Jared Leto working out as the Joker if he wasn't so like it went too hammy.
Yeah.
Because Jared Leto's not a
think-
bad actor. He's actually a pretty
No,
good
yeah,
actor.
he definitely had potential.
It's just the
The
direction.
way they went about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jared Leto, has anyone seen Morbius?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
I loved it when he went its Morbin time.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it yet.
that's all I know about Morbius is all the memes and stuff.
Yeah, Morbius. That also, it's funny because I know I just said that he like he's not a bad actor. He's not, but the projects he chooses are just so bad lately. You know, it's
Yeah.
just you know.
Doesn't he run like a cult?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've also heard about that.
30 seconds to Mars sex cult on like an island. Yeah, they all wear
Yeah,
white, and he looks like Jesus.
he's interesting. I know he's going to be in the Tron movie. Hopefully that's good.
I don't know about how I feel about that.
A lot of
Ooh.
people are, you know, they're really excited for Tron because Tron is dope. Tron is a really
Yeah.
cool world,
I
and
love the Tron Legacy.
yeah, that's actually Cued, who was our artist. He is now our creative executive for Forbidden Origins. That's his favorite movie of like all time, and that's like what inspired him to like be an artist and like do everything that he does.
Yeah, I can see
Honestly,
that.
I could see that in his work. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Once I heard about that a couple weeks ago, I went back to his work, and I looked at everything, and I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see the Tron influence here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I thought you guys were gonna talk about like the Tron movie coming out with him. I kind of want his. He's talked to it about it before. Like he's excited, but like the Jared Leto thing is kind of a off-putting thing for him. Which yeah, just because of his recent projects and stuff, and just the recent news about Jared Leto, he's like weird.
Wait, is he gonna be like the lead or something?
I think he's starring. He's a star.
Oh,
star.
okay.
They say Tron Ares starring Jared Leto. I think when they say starring, like that's the lead person.
Well,
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
he the star or is he the main bad guy? Because I feel like he's playing the bad guy.
That would be cool as like
I'm
the
not
bad guy.
sure.
I mean,
And
Ares
he was
is
wasn't he the bad guy in the Blade Runner movie?
yeah.
He was like the
Head
he
of
was really weird in that movie too.
he was the head of the corporation that makes the synths, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, he was very very cryptic. Yeah, no. Yeah, the Jared Leto thing is like I don't know. But yeah, you're right, Noah. Like he is a good actor, so hopefully he kind of does something very dynamic with Tron and yeah, Tron is I think we got to just see a trailer. I think that's what's gonna get the feel of the movie for Tron. But I'm happy they're at least doing something with Tron because that is like a lot of potential for Disney
Do you,
Yeah.
as long as they don't mess it up.
do you know why Disney took so long?
No, why?
Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah,
That's-
so
They were.
the original plan was to make Tron 3, right? A direct sequel to Legacy. But
Uh-huh.
then Disney acquired Star Wars and they decided to put those resources into Star Wars.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, but also so because I'm thinking like, but they're Disney. They're like ginormous. They could definitely work on Tron and Star Wars at the same time.
Yeah,
But-
but the problem with that is it's just like how do okay, so Disney's one of those studios where they don't want to have too many of one genre at any given
Okay.
time.
That
So
would make sense.
yeah, so Tron is sci-fi because it's one of those things where they were trying to like diversify their portfolio of content at the time,
Right.
and it's I think the whole idea was that they felt it would have been redundant to have both Tron and Star Wars out at the same time. And plus, if you think about it realistically, Star Wars is the big moneymaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even when when it wasn't under their umbrella, Star Wars, like I think there was an animated movie that came out or something around the same time as Legacy, and it did better. So I think that they looked at those numbers and they're like, you know what, yeah, might as well just get Star Wars out there first. We could do Tron later
Oh, okay.
because they were always gonna do more stuff with Tron. It's just like they had a cartoon, on Disney. What's the Disney cartoon? Disney XD. They had a cartoon starring the dude from Lord of the Rings, Frodo.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
Oh wow. I think I kind of remember. They had they had like a short film too, like a Tron short film
yeah,
or something. Because yeah, Disney had Tron. Did Disney create Tron? Like that was a Disney property always.
yeah.
Because there's like an old movie from like the 80s.
Yeah, have you guys gone back and rewatched that? It's hilarious.
No, I've never seen the original one.
It's such an 80s movie.
Yeah. I mean, you could kind of tell just by the poster.
Yeah. It's fun though.
And Tron is like a real game. So I'm
Mhm.
like curious, did the game come out first or the movie? It was like an arcade game. Tron.
I didn't even know it was a game. I thought it was just like a made-up game for the movie.
Yeah, the game is the motorcycles. It's like a motorcycle.
Yeah, they had a I think in Disneyland they actually had because Tomorrowland in California over here in Cali, they used to have an actual what's it called? Where you can play games. How am I blanking on the name? Anyways,
Arcade.
they had an actual arcade. So I think they actually had an arcade game for Tron there in the arcade.
Oh, that's cool.
God, I am
So
sick.
I'm curious because I looked it up. The movie came out first, and then they made an arcade game
Yeah, and
based on the
Oh,
movie.
okay.
that cabinet was more than likely to like tie in and to promote the movie.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, because the Tron game is actually kind of cool. And I know I'm sorry, I was looking it up. No, I don't know if you mentioned this, but
Oh, go ahead.
they have the Tron ride now at
Yeah.
Disney, right in my backyard in Orlando.
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting that over here too.
I'm excited.
Oh,
I
cool.
mean, I actually am going to Disney on Sunday,
Nice.
for my anniversary, but we're going to Hollywood Studios, not Magic Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
But maybe we can
Congratulations
talk
on
about
your
it.
anniversary, though.
Yeah, man.
Park hop.
Congrats.
Oh yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but that proves right there. Like they've always had. Tron was always like an ancillary thing that they started to work on. You know what I'm saying? Like they always had something going on with Tron.
Yeah,
It's
they
just the
kinda put it
movie.
on the back burner.
Yeah, they just don't want to put the resources for a movie. You know.
Yeah.
Until
It
now.
would make
Until
sense.
now.
It would make. I think I'm agreeing more because also Noah, from a business standpoint, they had to buy Star Wars for
Exactly.
like billions of dollars,
And they had to
so
make
they
that
had
money
to make
back.
their money back.
Like think about it like this. Like Forbidden Origins, right? If someone's working, if you know later on we get like Disney fuck you money, and we acquire like a small property, right? That's actually been proven to make money. Aren't we gonna want to like get that out there? You know, so I can
Yeah,
kind of see
let's
that. I
say-
mean, it's smart.
Got it, right? Because you put money into it from a business side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if we got the rights to make an Elden Ring movie,
Oh my god.
like would you make the Elden Ring movie first, or would you make the old universe movie first? You know, the old universe already yours. So you could kind of just like put that in the back, wait on that, and then
Well,
focus
I mean,
on the
okay,
Rainmaker.
like let's say hypothetically we're in this spot, right? We already have an old universe thing going on, right? Like,
Right.
like I wouldn't mind like my fantasy story Dawn Guard being put on the back burner for an Elden Ring movie. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
what I'm saying.
that's what you know. Like I wouldn't mind because that's Elden Ring. You know, that's
Yeah.
like one of the best video games of all time. So, yeah,
I love Elden Ring. That is my first ever Souls-like that I played, and I was obsessed.
yeah,
I would do anything to see a Elden Ring show, sort of like Game of Thrones style, I guess, where it's like all the demigods and stuff,
Mhm.
the Golden Order, whatever, all the lore. That'd be so sick.
Are you gonna get the Shadow of the Erd Tree?
Yes.
The DLC.
Yes,
I'm probably
so
gonna pick it
excited
up.
for that.
I gotta beat Elden Ring first because I kind of spend most of my time just walking around the world.
That's fair.
But
Honestly, valid.
even just doing that, I had so much fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's so much to just like explore.
Sorry, Eric, we took over with Elden Ring talk.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, guys. Go crazy. Because fun fact, I have not played Elden Ring at all.
Really,
You should get it.
highly
Dude.
recommend.
I am very familiar with it. Obviously, it's super popular,
Yeah.
and I have friends who played it. What I'll tell you, my Souls, because they're all part of the Soulsborne thing, and all made by
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
same studio. I got Bloodborne on PlayStation 4 because everyone said Bloodborne was really good, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't get the game. Like I didn't get the mechanics, and I didn't realize like these games are hard. Like if you get hit like once or twice, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you play it very differently from like a a normal action type of game.
Right.
So I played Bloodborne, but I didn't really get into it. I bet you if I played it now, I would like get into it. And then I didn't do anything with those games. And then when I get the PS5, I know they did Dark Souls Remastered, which I got
Uh-huh.
just as like something to test out the PS5's graphics because it's like that was like one of the first PS5 exclusives. I beat like the first stage world of it was dark, or even they call it Demon Souls for the first game. And it was pretty good. Like it was challenging, it was good. It takes a lot of time and like focus, and
Yeah.
that's like hard for me to do in like, that type of thing.
Uh-huh.
But I'll probably have to do Elden Ring at some point.
It's always on sale. I think you'd enjoy it.
I'm very
dude.
behind on the video game world. It's hilarious. The only game I'm playing right now it is fantasy related. Is RuneScape. I just play RuneScape a little bit. now and then on play old school RuneScape, and my
You know,
cousin's getting back into it, so I play with him.
that's cool. I
Um,
never got into it. I don't even know what it's about, honestly.
honestly, I can't even recommend it because it's very old style graphics. It's just because I played it so much when it came out when I was like in third grade. It kind of like molded my brain,
Oh,
so I
okay,
kind
I
of just
see.
get like the nostalgia dopamine rush when I play it now, and it's ridiculous. But it's a fun game. It is a fun game. But just with all the other games out now, I would definitely say like probably Elden Ring probably definitely is a better game.
Yeah,
For sure. But
dude,
that's
and
just
yeah, I started with Bloodborne too. Like it was free on PlayStation for a while. Like
Yeah.
it was like a free game of the month,
Yeah.
and I got it. And I did the same thing where like I went into it thinking it was just like some regular game, not knowing anything about it, and I like couldn't even get past the first. I couldn't even find the first boss actually, so I just like gave up and never played it again. But then I got Elden Ring when it came out, and I was like, I'll give it another go. I'll give it another try. I'll figure it out. And I didn't watch any videos or anything, and so I kind of like struggled a bit at the beginning. I didn't even know how to like level up or anything, and it doesn't help if you skip some of the cutscenes.
Yeah.
But eventually, like I kind of got the hang of it, and it's my favorite game I think now.
Elden
So
Ring.
definitely
Elden Ring
recommend.
is definitely an easier, um, Dark Souls like game. They added some stuff in there that really helps the player out, like a jump button, and
Oh yeah,
oh, you can jump in that one.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
definitely more
definitely
beginner friendly.
yeah, it's definitely like you can tell they try to get more people into it with it. And I played the only one I had played was Dark Souls 3. I got killed the first boss and I just put it down. So Elden Ring I thought was it's fantastic. It's really cool even when like you're getting thrashed around and you're just like, "Ha, this is fun."
Yeah.
So
Did you beat it, Noah?
no, I actually reinstalled it and I started up a at first I started doing samurai, but then there's this class that looks like a nun, but it's like a dude with a shield and a
Uh-huh.
sword. So I've been playing that one because I really do like the shield. I like parrying. I like to block because I'm the type of player like okay, this is both like in real life and in video games. I'll take the hit so long as I get to hit you and hit you harder. So
Okay, that's fair.
that's why like I went with the shield guy because I know you could have done. I think Vagabond is the first guy with the shield and the sword, but this class looked pretty cool because he can also use magic.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I like that. I like having a melee character that can block with a shield, but I also like the magic aspect of it. So I've been solely playing that. My friend, he actually my friend beat Elden Ring on PC. He reinstalled it, and he actually
Oh,
signed up a playthrough. And now like we're doing like a side by side playthrough where we'll be on Discord talking to each other, but like we're both shooting the shit and like talking to each other about the game. And he was way
okay,
more
that's
into
really
it than
cool.
me. So he has his head. He's way more into like the leveling system and stuff like that. So when I have a question, I ask him, and he breaks it down pretty easily. So
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like that
Yeah,
would be really
I
helpful.
think I'll have to play it for sure because it's also like more open world, right?
Oh
Versus
yeah,
because
Yeah,
I played Demon Souls basically like the first one, and that it's
yeah,
very linear. It's
yeah,
beautiful, but and also it's like it's super hard.
yeah.
Um,
that's what I've
took me
heard.
a
Yeah.
took me a lot of stuff to just get through like that first area, but which is it's just fun. I kind of like hard games. I like the challenge. As long as it's
Fair.
forgiving in some parts. Also, I really heard. I think Elden Ring and another one that I want that's really cool because it's just like it's like another like world is Sekiro. I keep hearing really good things
Yeah,
about Sekiro.
People are saying that one's really good, but that it's the hardest one.
really.
Ooh, yeah,
That's what I've
I
heard.
want to
Yeah,
try it.
because apparently, like the combat system is very different and it's like very unique, and even like the leveling system is unique, and so you kind of have to like get used to that. I don't know. I haven't played it and I haven't even seen like any videos about it, but I've seen like a bunch of TikToks where people say it's the hardest Souls like.
There's a YouTuber that he's a part of a team called Funhouse. John Smith. Apparently, he platinumed Sekiro like 2 days after it came out.
Oh my god,
That's crazy.
that's
That's
dedication.
next level. And you, Angel, you beat Elden Ring, yeah? You
I
beat it?
did I did beat the story part, like I became Elden Lord and everything,
Mm.
but I still haven't beat all the bosses because there is like extra bosses that are kind of like outside the story.
Like side quest.
Like,
Yeah. And then it's like apparently the hardest one in that game, her name is Melania. I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
beat her. I was actually fighting her today earlier, trying to beat her, and I still haven't beat her.
Isn't there a
yeah,
dude that
that's
just
what I
rocks her
heard.
shit online?
The whole game. Oh, yes, yes. His name is Let Me Solo Her, and he wears like no armor.
Yeah.
He just wears like a
Solo
bucket
her.
on his head, and he just like he'll let people summon him into their games and just
Yeah.
beats them for her, or beats her for them.
Yeah, dude, it's like what the hell?
That's crazy.
I think he's getting
Yeah.
referenced in their DLC or something. I heard a rumor that he's gonna get like
There's been
reference.
Oh
rumors, but I don't
yeah.
know if it's
Oh
been confirmed.
yeah. They just announced it, right? Like official Elden Ring DNC, and
Yeah.
everyone's like getting crazy again. Yeah, I might
Yeah,
have to. You guys are. Yeah, what I don't know when, but I should get to it for sure.
I think it's
Um,
June 21st. It's coming out.
Angel, what do you play on?
I play on PC, but with controller.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, if you have a PS5, Armani, you have a PS5, right?
Eric, first of
Oh,
all.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Eric Armani. Armani.
I was
I'm
wait,
sorry.
I was waiting for that. No, it's fine. Yeah, I do have PS5. I think I added you. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
I
yeah.
added.
See, that's how you know I'm sick. Like I'm not in the right headspace. But
He's out of it right now.
yeah, Eric, if you get it, let me know because we can actually co-op together.
Yeah, how does that work? Is it like the summoning thing?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
unfortunately the co-op isn't the best.
Yeah, I heard the netcode is kind of. There's a PvP aspect to the game too, right? It's like an arena.
Yeah. Yeah, and even just
I
like
got this in Dark Souls, right? Yeah, the PvP.
Yeah.
mhm. And there's like invading where you basically just like randomly join someone's game and you could just like kill them while they're trying to just play.
Yeah, they have that in Demon Souls. It's
That
ridiculous.
happened to me once. I
Uh-huh.
turned it off.
Yeah, dude, it's annoying. I don't like it.
Another kind of good game like that, where it's what's like RPG. Honestly, and the world is kind of cool, but the lore is kind of clunky, to be honest. It's just it's I never thought the story was super compelling, but it's a game you never really played for the story. Is Monster Hunter. Have you guys ever played Monster Hunter?
Yes.
Ooh, I have not, but I do have it in my wish list because I've heard people say good things about it.
Isn't World on sale for like super cheap? You need to get it. You need
Yeah,
to get World.
it's always on sale.
Yeah, it is always on sale. I always get the emails, but I have not gotten it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's probably one of my favorite games ever.
Really?
Because I didn't know anything about Monster Hunter World until COVID. Because I was COVID. I was bored. And I
Yeah.
was like, I need a new game to play, and I needed something like long. And I always heard that this Monster Hunter game is like very deep and takes a lot of time. You could put a lot of hours into it. So I was like, let's do it. And I got Monster Hunter World on PS4, and I never looked back. It's so good. It's so interesting. It's like when I first played it, I like fought the first big monster, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, it's kind of interesting. Like you kind of just hit the monster a lot, but then you go to like the hub, and then when I first see the gear, I think the real magic of that game is the gear. Like it has some of the best gear crafting and like theory crafting and builds in like any game. You can make so many different types of builds, and with so many different types of weapons. Like I know for like the Dark Souls games, there's like character classes.
Uh-huh.
In Monster Hunter, you're the same person, but it's a weapon class. Like whatever weapon you pick, the game plays so differently. There's like over 13, I think 13, 16 different type of weapons, and it ranges from a sword and a shield to um like dual blades, which is fast, and then there's bow guns, which is literally like then you play it kind of like a shooter and you shoot the monsters, and it's
Oh,
just
okay, that's cool.
it just like it delves in so crazy. And then you craft like elemental weapons. Like there's monsters that are only weak to a certain element, so you have to like max out like your water element with water boosting charms and stuff. It's for me, the best part of the game is just making all your builds and just like trying to make your character as cracked as possible, and just trying a whole bunch of different things, and then learning the monster, because some of the monsters are really really hard, and you really need to learn them, and then just like you progressively get better, and you just got to get ready to die a lot. And it's like it's cool because every monster you hunt, it's like a boss battle, because when you hunt the monsters, they always have a huge pool of health. So on average, like unless you're a speedrunner, each monster hunt takes like 20-30 minutes of just
Oh,
hitting the
that's
same
cool.
monster over and over, trying to catch them and track them. But it's fun. Like it sounds like, oh, that's repetitive, but it's not. Like just the gameplay is so good, and you just test your reactions and you learn. It's yeah. I'm
Honestly, it sounds very similar to Elden Ring.
Yeah, they have the aspects in them, especially in the gameplay. Because yeah, the monsters too. If you're not careful, depending on the monster, they can definitely catch you and one shot you.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, you have to really be on your toes and know what to do. But yeah, Monster Hunter was so good. I got the expansion. I did Iceborne. I beat Iceborne. I didn't do the final monsters, like the DLC monsters, because that's what's cool too. Like after the Monster Hunter games come out, Capcom releases like DLC of new monsters that are
Oh,
like
okay.
even harder and like have, and then there, but there's always a reward. Obviously, if you fight a harder monster, it has better gear because all your gear comes from the monsters. You make it from you carve them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And then some monsters they have a part that you need, but it's a really rare part that only has like a 3% chance of getting. So you have to fight that monster so many times just to get like the part you want. And you know, when you finally get it, it's like feels like gambling. It's like, oh, I finally got it.
Okay, that's really cool. I'll have to check it out. My games list that I want to play is really long right now, but I'm sure I'll get to it eventually.
The T
Yeah.
Rex is really cool. I forgot the actual name of it, but I like the T Rex
The
in that game.
the one, yeah, in World.
Yeah, it's like the first like major monster you fight, but that one was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, he was like the first wall for me. Like
Yeah,
that was the first monster that like killed me a lot, and I
yeah,
was like, man, this is hard. But I like kept doing it, and it felt so good to beat it. Yeah, Anjanath is the name. It's like a fire T Rex. He's actually a really cool monster, and I fought him a lot. I also I got the other Monster Hunter game that came out after for the Switch, Rise, which is also on PC now as well. And that game is more of like the old style Monster Hunter games. It's more fast paced, and the gameplay is like more arcadey and tight. They're both though amazing. I would say get World first just because it's a way better graphics, and I think the part that what makes World and stuff so cool is like the graphics are so crazy. And then they announced the next game coming out, and I think in 2025, Wilds, which everyone's going to go crazy for, and I'm definitely going to get that game. Whatever gaming time that I have nowadays, definitely when that game comes out, I'm gonna put it towards that because Monster Hunter is an amazing series. They even did a movie which was terrible, but
yeah.
um, it was just crazy
Happens.
that became a movie too. I think with Elden Ring, going back to that, did and you guys were saying like Game of Thrones style show or something. Didn't George R. Martin like help write the lore for
Yeah,
Elden Ring?
he did, which is
That's really
I think
cool.
why I like it so much.
Yeah, he did, but it was from what I've heard, it was more like just like a summary, like an outline.
Yeah, because
Um,
he kind of did like the like old lore that's not actually in the game.
yeah, it's like the background lore,
Yeah.
like the notes you find.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you can definitely like feel his influence though. Um,
Oh, definitely.
but
Jeez.
it's funny how I don't know. I think wait, hold on. Okay, we're cool. Um, no, I really like the Japanese interpretation of medieval warfare, medieval European warfare, and
Hmm.
medieval like fantasy because there's a game coming out called Dragon's Dogma 2 that I'm gonna pre-order on Thursday once I get paid.
Oh, I've heard about.
Um, yeah, it looks like a more arcadey version of Elden Ring, and it looks cool. I just think it looks pretty sick, um, and I can't wait for that. When it comes to Elden Ring, for the DLC, I can't wait for let's say they're gonna have an unarmed combat class where you can basically
Oh
just like
yeah.
throw hands, bare knuckle fist fight your
That's
enemies,
hilarious.
which I'm down for because there's a shot in the trailer for the DLC where the Tarnish is doing like a backflip or something, or like some kind of like spin kick or something, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, they're adding like martial arts almost.
Yeah, because you can get mods on PC. Basically, that's just like Dragon Ball mods where you can fly
Uh-huh.
around and shoot energy blasts and all that. You know.
That's
Um,
wild.
Speaking of Dragon Ball,
Speaking of Dragon Ball,
I know you're gonna say that. Speaking of Dragon Ball.
good segue.
um, we had a loss of a very influential man, Akira Toriyama, last week, and I feel like to this day, even now, we're still feeling it. You know, Eric, you wanna talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, cue the sad music. But yeah, what it was last week, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember I was like it was I'm on the East Coast, so it was a little later at that time compared to you guys, but I was like in bed Like I kind of just sometimes I just scroll Twitter a bit before I actually go to sleep, kind of just to like
Mhm.
dull my eyes. It's probably a terrible habit, but anyways. And I saw that like an official release that he died. And I was like, no way. And it's so crazy because as soon as I found out he died, I sent it to like my cousin, like people, you know, like another guy like around my age. Like that's like the demographic, right?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, no way. And it was just it was really shocking. I think he was only like 68. He had like a hematoma in his brain. I think they just actually released. I don't know if it's true. Don't definitely don't take my word for it. But I'm seeing sources confirm that like maybe he had a brain tumor, is what they're saying.
Damn.
Yeah.
And yeah, he died. And for anyone who don't know, yeah, Akira Toriyama, he was the creator of Dragon Ball, which became Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball. So just the whole Dragon Ball franchise, and it's so influential because so many aspects of his show and universe influence definitely were like the whole groundwork for like popular shonen manga, and had a huge influence on Western media as well, and how Western shows and series were created. It inspired video games, and not just Dragon Ball, like literally all video games. It inspired, I'm pretty sure it had a huge inspiration for Marvel and DC and how they did some of their stories. Just the way that he did it. I mean, he created Goku. If you don't know who Goku is, I don't know what to tell you at this point because his influence is so worldwide, and
Yep.
it's so crazy that even now they're still coming out with Dragon Ball stuff. Dragon Ball is just as popular as it ever has been. Probably even more popular than when I first got into it. When I learned about it, I was it was on TV. It was
Yeah.
Toonami. I think that's how a lot of kids here in the US got into it.
Mhm.
Um, is that how you guys first learned about Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was I mean, it was already a thing in Japan, and then they did the show, and then I think at some time in the 90s, America was like they started to do this thing where they were bringing in the animes from Japan. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. Let's more content, and then they brought in Dragon Ball, and it was a wrap. That was like the big hit that like other audiences other than Japanese were like, this is crazy. And I mean, it's blown up ever since. The original Dragon Ball about Goku as a kid. It's very adventure style and fun. That leads into Dragon Ball Z, where Goku grows up, and it's so crazy, Toriyama, like what he does in his stories. He like turns the whole thing on its head. He's like, oh yeah, this monkey boy that was just collecting Dragon Balls and stuff. Guess what? He's actually an alien, and now his alien family is gonna come and blow up the world.
Yeah.
But it works. It just works. Like there's no other like there's I don't know there's any other way or artist or I guess storyteller who could make it work. Because if it was any I don't know if there was someone else and they're like actually that person's an alien, you'd be like this is stupid and I'm not watching this. I'm not getting into this anymore.
Yeah.
But it worked, and then it went crazy. And then Super Saiyan, obviously, he really popularized like transforming to get more powerful. I mean, there's probably been transformations before that, but like everybody knows Super Saiyan,
Popularized
everybody
it.
knows
Yeah.
Kamehameha, and then everybody knows like yelling to get more powerful and screaming. That was like his thing. Oh man, I could go on. I was actually talking to Armani about this. I'm like, if we talk about Dragon Ball tonight, I'm gonna pop off for like an hour because it was one of the biggest influences on me and still influences me to this day. Um I still watch, whatever comes out. I know that I watched Super in college, when it was dropping. I know that ended now. I don't really read the most current manga. I read some parts of it. For me, Dragon Ball to me was always like the show. Like it was just much better as a show.
Right.
Um, and then the new ones coming out, which I think Toriyama had a big part in it. Dragon Ball Daima, which is kind of sad because I don't know if his work was complete or not on that show. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna stop or else I'm gonna keep going. But I'm gonna let you guys talk about it. But yeah, it was pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie. It was It was a big part of my childhood, and I just hope it, I just hope it wasn't painful for him and that he has peace.
Yeah, may he
Obviously, he was
rest in
very
peace.
cherished and beloved. I think, a whole bunch of TV stations around the world are doing movie marathons, Dragon Ball marathons, honoring him. They'll probably build a statue. I don't know, but yeah, rest in peace. Because yeah, he it's a really big part of who I am, and it might sound a little silly, but it's true. Like it was such a big part of life for me, still is.
Yeah, no, not silly at all. I mean, it's a huge cultural thing too. Like I've never seen a single episode of any of the shows or movies or anything, but even I know like a lot about it just because it's so big. Like kind of like Star Wars, I guess, where like you don't even have to be a fan to just know about it because it's so big.
Yeah, it's like a cultural osmosis. If even if you haven't
Yeah.
watched it, you know who like at least like two or three characters. You know, like the one main character. You know.
Yeah, like I know Goku, I know Vegeta, I
Yeah,
know Piccolo.
yeah. Um, it's funny because when I was little, I wasn't like I remember reading the manga. My friend would bring it, and we would read it together. And I would watch it here and there on Tsunami, because Tsunami had I think two blocks. They had like of course like the famous Adult Swim block, right? But then they actually had a block around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I think it was meant for like the kids when they got out of school. You could watch some like anime stuff like that, the more like edgy cartoons on Cartoon Network, and that's where I watched it. But I wasn't really like after I want to say around like second grade, first grade, second grade. My dad didn't really allow me to watch it. Um, so what I knew about Dragon Ball until like high school, it was more once again through like my friends telling me about it, right? And
Mhm.
then in college is when I really got into Dragon Ball through Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Have you guys
That's a
watched
good
that?
one.
Yeah, it's
Yes, watched
that.
all that too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what really got me back into it. And I love just Goku specifically because he, to me, you know, he's just like Superman. You know, a ultra powerful being who was actually a really nice guy. Um, Stands for people who can't stand for themselves. You know, and I love Vegeta too. He's a little douchebag, but he's got a heart of gold too. Like if you got to really dig underneath it. And it's just wild to me how much influence Akira Toriyama had with his series, because all kinds of artists, all kinds of writers were just tweeting that day like, you know, thank you so much for everything you've done. A lot of the Japanese artists and writers, you know, sensei, thank you, stuff like that.
Yeah, I did see that.
It was really heartfelt, really warm. Apparently, a lot of Mexican cartels decided to not do their usual bullshit and like had a day of basically mourning for the guy because it was so,
I did see that too.
The cartel ceasefire.
yeah, it was so influential in Mexico. Let me put it to you this way: the Jiren fight when Goku fights Jiren. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but back when that happened, like freaking strip clubs were promoting it like it was an actual title fight.
Yes, yes, I saw the posters.
You know, so that's how deep the love for Dragon Ball goes in Mexico. Not just
Oh my
Mexico,
god.
but in Latin America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like all my uncles who grew up in Mexico and stuff, like they were all watching it growing up and stuff. Like my
Yeah,
uncle had like all the little figurines and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the influence is okay. I remember I would go to Mexico a lot, to my dad's town, and my like his uncle's son, I don't know if that's my cousin or something, but he had a clock it was a Goku clock with Goku as Super Saiyan 3. And at that time, I didn't even know Super Saiyan 3 was a thing. Like I think in the America, because I only knew what was on the TV. I think at that
Mhm.
time it was just like the Cell Saga on
yeah.
American TV, and I'm like, this is Goku. Why does he look like that? I was like freaking out, and then I learned, oh yeah, it's Super Saiyan 3. And it's just
Why
like
is he freaking out?
e- everyone has like that core memory where maybe not you Angel, because you said you didn't see it as much, but
Yeah.
everyone has that core memory where they Google Goku Super Saiyan 5,
Oh yeah.
and it's that fake picture of him with like silver hair, and everyone's like, this is sick. And then you would do Super Saiyan 6, and then you would do Super Saiyan
Yeah,
7.
and the hair just got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and then he would go to white, and then he would go like black, and then he would have like double horns. It was ridiculous, but it was so influential. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna be funny, but Angel, you're Hispanic, right?
Yes.
You're the first Hispanic guy that I've known that's never seen a single episode of Dragon Ball Z. That's crazy.
I think it's just because I was not into anime when I was a kid. Like, my friend tried to put me on once. I remember we were sitting in school and she was like, "Hey, do you know what anime is?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And she was like, "Look it up when you get home." And so we go home. I borrow my mom's phone because she's the only one that had like internet on her phone.
Uh-huh.
And like I look up, I just type in anime into YouTube and I watch the first thing that pops up. And then it was like some really weird, I don't even know what it was, where like some girl leads some dude into her apartment and then turns into like a spider and like bites his head off or something.
Oh,
I don't know. It
I
was
think
really
I know.
weird.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't
And
even know
so
what
I
that
was just like, this is anime? This is what you be watching? And I just like never watched anime until like high school.
Right.
Yeah. So
That's funny.
I never got into like any of the animes that were like really big at that time.
That's so funny. I have another story too, and I think I told you guys this story before. But this is how much Dragon like, and just also I think my environment too. Like every kid when I was going to school with at that time, like insanely into Dragon Ball. Like
Yeah.
it was that same time slot where we would all come home from school, and that's what was on TV when you get home
Yeah.
from school was Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And I transferred schools because I first went to a magnet. This was in Chicago. I first went to a magnet school in Chicago that was a bilingual school, but as in bilingual, it was it was mostly Spanish, and then they kind of teach you English. But I didn't know Spanish at all, so I was really
Oh, okay.
struggling there because I didn't know Spanish.
Uh-huh.
And my mom took me out just because it just was I was struggling, and she put me to the local school that was closer to our house, and that was just like a more basic public school, um, that fully in English in Chicago, and so it was second grade, and it was like my first day there. It was a little awkward. It was my first time ever switching out of a school. I've never switched out of a school before to go to a new school and completely new people. I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
always
teacher
hard.
introduces me, which was nice. And then I sit down, and literally the first kid next to me was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hi," and then he slides me a piece of paper, and I look at it was face down, and then I flip it over, and it was literally a drawing of Goku Super Saiyan fighting Cell or I don't know. It was a drawing of Goku. Like that was like literally the first interaction of a kid there was a drawing of Goku, and it was a wrap. And then we would just draw Goku up. That was another thing too about Dragon Ball Z. It made I think you know this, Noah. Every kid would draw it. Like
Yeah.
draw it all the time.
Yeah.
That's like what made boys like want to do art. Is so
Yeah.
you could draw
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Actually, yeah, all the kids that I knew in elementary school who like drew, that was like the thing that they were always drawing. It's just Goku.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
there's three categories of people who were heavily inspired by DBZ: fighters, artists, and bodybuilders.
Yes.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big inspiration for me to actually like start working out too.
Yeah.
And actually that's probably why the first ever physical thing I did and what I even did to meet Armani was I did martial arts, which is like I bet you Dragon Ball was a big inspiration for a lot of people to do
Yeah.
like martial arts or exercise.
Well, just sports in general. Because I remember,
Yeah.
it's funny. I sometimes I would train with the football guys, and we did the what was that team that Frieza had under his command? I forgot their name.
Ginyu Force?
The Guinea. We did the Guinea Force pose.
That's funny.
For five of us, and there's a picture on Instagram. If I can find it, I'll try and pop it on here. But yeah, like we would like. There's a lot. It inspired a lot of people. Like for example, for the comics that I want to do, my superhero story, I'm gonna be referencing like Alex is gonna be doing some stuff that basically you could tell that's like the Super Saiyan power up. You know what I'm saying? The aura around him, stuff like
Mhm.
that. It inspired a lot of people, and it's crazy how much that resonated with so many. You know, he did magnificent work with Dragon Ball, not just Dragon Ball, but his other series like Blue Dragon. You know,
Yeah.
it's
He
wild.
did the he did that really good art for that people love too for Chrono Trigger.
Exactly.
Yeah, his art style too was just it's so defining. Like people just take that as inspiration too, not even just the story, but like his art, like how you draw like that.
Mhm.
Like people still inspire that to this day.
Yeah, it's very much the baseline for not just anime, but a lot of artists in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great. That's so crazy too with like manga art, like creators. They not only make a good story, but they're also like really good artists. It's like both.
And they don't get paid
That's
shit.
that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like they make amazing art and amazing stories. Because I think usually I could be wrong, but like for American comics, right, you usually have a good comic writer and then like a good artist, and they like work together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very rare when the creator of a comic does both.
And that's so crazy because in Japan that's like expected. Like
Yeah, it's
usually
like the standard.
it's the same guy.
Well, it's also a cultural difference because in Japan, they look at manga with reverence. In the West, it's more of a kid. It's quote unquote kid stuff, even though I feel like it hasn't been for kids in like 40 years.
Yeah.
Like comics, right?
Yeah, you know, it's
Right.
there's a different cultural aspect to it, which I wish we had over here too. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I
That's so funny that it's still think is a kid thing when Marvel movies are like the highest grossing movies of all time.
Right.
well, it's because
Like,
it
Not
kind
just kids.
yeah, it also comes back to what we're doing. I think we forget that we're basically promoting literacy with Forbidden Origins.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, let's be real here. You know, kids are with iPads all day.
Yeah.
The comic medium. I mean, you can get it digitally, but in my opinion, there's something more to have it in your hand. To have the comic in your hand, you know, the book in your hand, to have that smell from Barnes and Nobles, I feel like it's way better. But nowadays, parents just stick an iPad in front of their kids and they call it quit. You know,
Yeah.
so reading rates are kind of going down in the United States. And it sucks. So I think from a business side, that's why a lot of businesses like DC, for example, that's why Warner really hasn't been promoting their comics. I mean, sometimes they'll have like a trailer for like a major event that's happening in the comics, but it's like they really don't put a whole lot of money into it. That's why it's kind of I'm not saying it's a failing industry, but it's very stagnant right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna keep it real. I don't expect like my comic to do like hot shit. I mean I think it'll do well once we promote it. But I mean it's basically a niche thing at this point. It sucks, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, you know.
Yeah. It's
But
definitely
isn't
become
that
more of
weird
like
though?
a
Because
hobby
like
even.
you were saying, like culturally, it's like a US thing, but like mangas are still like best selling, right? Like mangas are still selling like a lot.
Well, also too, I've heard this argument, and I get it. I think the reason too is that in Japan, the creators tends to stick with their stuff for the long term. When it
Right.
comes to comics, there's a reason why they're called runs. When it comes to authors, different
Yeah.
authors do like, for example, Batman. Every couple years or so, that comic, the main Batman comic, will switch authors.
Of course.
So you get different styles of Batman every couple years. But manga, they stick with the author sticks with the story. So it's a
Yeah.
consistent writing style, consistent storytelling style. I think that's why it's way more people are more into it because it's the same guy or girl writing that story, and that's why people stick with it because it's the vision gets fulfilled, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot more true to the creator and the essence, and it's yeah, I would agree. It's more consistent. Yeah, that is crazy with manga and stuff and how that is. And yeah, Toriyama's like a big part of that. I
Mhm.
think he also inspired that too, because I think what was it? I don't know a full history, but a big reason why I think Dragon Ball lasted as long because I think he wanted to like do other things or hand off Dragon Ball to somebody else, but all the fans and people were like, no, like you're the essence of Dragon Ball, like it needs to be you or else like that no one else is gonna accept it. Kind of like also, I don't know if you know this, the voice actor for Goku in Japan is an old lady,
Yeah,
Masako Nowaza, whatever her name is,
yeah.
and it started because she was the voice for Kid Goku, and that voice kind of fit. It made sense because he was like a little boy, and she had like that higher pitched but still raspy voice. It made sense as like a little boy to kind of have that old lady cartoony voice. It worked,
Mm-hmm.
but it was so beloved when Goku became like an adult, and he's a man. I think they wanted to do like like a guy, because in anime they have dudes voice dudes, like they sound like dudes.
Yeah.
But the fans loved her so much, they're like, no, you're gonna be Goku, um, like forever. Like she still is the Japanese Goku. Like she's still alive and going crazy. And she also shared a really heartfelt thing for Toriyama because she literally is Goku. You know. But I'm not gonna lie. I tried to get into Dragon. I did watch Japanese Dragon Ball, especially because Super came out for like early before the dubbed version. I do appreciate it, but I can't get over old lady Goku. Sorry.
um, to speak real quick, the difference between I think Forbidden Origins and other American like comic brands, I guess. I feel like we're gonna change that. I think, for example, when it comes to Manifest, I kind of want to stick with that. I don't want to hand that off to anybody. Granted, the way I'm gonna write it, I want to write it so that there's gonna be time periods within the story where people can like, oh, I want to play with like this character, like a spin-off. Can I do that? I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. But the mainline story is what I'm gonna stick with. I think if each author sticks with their own story, I think people will gravitate towards it. I think people will appreciate it because it'll be a consistent writing style, a consistent way of telling the story. I think that'll separate us from DC and Marvel, where Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, every couple of years the author changes. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if we each stick with our own story, I think people will like it more. People will gravitate towards it more.
Yeah, I think people also kind of get attached to like almost the personality of the person who writes it. So if it's the same person throughout the whole thing, they kind of feel more attached.
That's why I think things like Invincible did so well in the comics was because Robert Kirkman stuck with it.
Yeah. I noticed that for Robert Kirkman. He whatever story he like creates, like that's his story. Like Walking Dead was always Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
Right. And Invincible was him too. And Invincible ran for a long time. It was a lot. I read it. It's really long.
Yeah.
But
it's good.
Yeah. I think he's kind of more that style. Like he has more of that manga style where like that's his art, like his thing.
Exactly. I think if comics took a page from Japan in that regard, I think you would see a resurgence in popularity.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And I think if Forbidden Origins as a whole tries to do that, I think we could be like the first ones on the ground floor in regards to getting that popularity back up there. Not just with comics, but with like our written books too. So
for sure. Yeah, I think that's something we'll definitely do. I think everyone's ready to be consistent and just stick with the vision.
You like that, Eric?
That's kind of what we in Armani talk to you guys about too. Like we're not a company just to like find different artists and writers and turn them over all the time just to get stories out and just churn it like a machine. That was never our goal. Our goal was just to have people who are passionate and who want to be around for the long run and just create and make things that other people will love and share. So I'm grateful for you guys to really share that same vision too. You guys are very motivated, which is really good. Motivates us too. It all feeds into each other. So man, yeah. I think I agree with everything you just said. I'm really hyped. What's our time at right now, if you don't mind me asking?
We are 1:18.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's been a little bit past an hour. You guys want to keep going, or what do you think?
I think we could wrap it up here.
Yeah, I agree.
We can
wrap it here.
All right. Check out Echoes of the Old Universe out on Amazon, TikTok Shop. If you're watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave a review or a rating. Like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, Eric. It was a pleasure having you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Just want to shout out to you guys and shout out to Forbidden Origins, to all our listeners. Check us out. We are on everything. We are on, check out Forbidden Origins on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on TikTok. We have YouTube. Our page on Amazon for our books. We're also on Goodreads for reviews. We don't have a review for Echoes just yet on Goodreads, but that can change for sure. If you've read Echoes and left a review on Amazon, definitely leave a review on Goodreads too. That's just a nice resource for that. But yeah, check out everything Forbidden Origins and keep listening to Forbidden Radio.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
See you guys next week.
Peace out, guys. Have a good one.